The next thing to do is players determine their positioning field in secret. So Tim will decide what positioning field he wants to use, and I will decide mine by writing them on a piece of paper and keeping them hidden. The 10 positioning fields to choose from are battle line, which is probably the most common one, left corner, right corner, left shoulder, right shoulder, left flank, right flank, advance, left flank advance, and right flank advance. Once you've chosen the positioning fields, players will position any weather affected terrain on the battlefield. We don't have any, so there is no need to do so. And then the commander with the lowest authority from either host positions himself and his command in his positioning ground. Now, looking at both hosts, my Seerdrune's command will go first, simply because the Seerdrune has the lowest authority. Okay, the positioning field that that I have chosen is now on screen. Tim can't see this, so what I'll do is I need to position the Seerdrune and his command inside that positioning ground. And to make Tim think that I'm just doing a standard positioning, I'm going to pretend that I'm positioning these guys normally. Okay, that's the Seerdrune's command, and then it's over to the next lowest authority, which is actually my Death Brute, an authority of 67. So the Death Brute and his brutes will go next. And at this point I'll attempt the same, try to keep these guys as if they're not positioning in the field that they actually are positioning in, which adds a bit of secrecy and guesswork on Tim's part as to what comes next. So the next lowest authority will be either my Battle Drune, which is 75, or Tim's Werewolf Thane, which is also 75. With them both being 75, what you do to differentiate between them is you check their skill, and the highest skill will deploy after the lowest skill. So what's the skill of your Werewolf Thane, Tim?
50.
The skill of my Battle Drune is 61, so Tim will have to position his Werewolf Thane and his command next.
I'm going to position that command now, which is basically my Werewolf Thane and 3 werewolves. The Guth Wolves, who are also in his command, are going to scout for this game, so they'll be coming on later.
That's because obviously they are foresters, and there's wooded terrain on the battlefield, and foresters can scout in wooded terrain.
And again, because these guys are foresters, they can move through woods without any movement penalty, so that's where they're going to go.
Okay, then it's time for my Battle Drune, and in fact that's the last part of my host. So I will have to position them in my positioning ground and reveal what I'm doing. So here we go. We'll go right over here, I think, for the Manticore. Let's give him some space, some room to work in. My general will go here with his axe drunes, and that is my host positioned. Over to Tim and his last command.
Okay, the only command I've got left is my general's, my Thane's command. And he's just going to pop here next to Wiggly and his unit to go. There we go. I've not got a lot to deploy in this game. That's because I've got the Guth Wolves who are going to come on, hopefully, in a future hour for me and outflanking.
Okay, that's all the positioning done. What the last part of this positioning host is to check your opponent's positioning field and make sure he's positioned correctly. So, Tim, what was your positioning field?
Mine was the basic number 1
Battle line.
battle line.
My positioning field was number 3, left shoulder. So, Tim, if you'd like to check the positioning field, just make sure that it doesn't go over the battle line. Yeah, and then of course that's fine as well. So I will check Tim's, and yeah, Tim is absolutely fine within his battle line.